building. You know, sometimes you gotta mix this up, you gotta switch it around sometimes. It was something I wanted to touch on last week, but I'm touching on now. Got the polo one from Brooklyn. Um, a couple of weeks ago, Soul B was on Mav Hoffa's show, and he was speaking. He was with Benny, and he was speaking about the Jimmy Henchman situation. Now you know Soul B always get the party started, and just like on Queens Flip, when he interviewed Queens Flip, it created a firestorm of interviews that led to Queens Flip, Killer Kev, you know what I'm saying, Soul B, Killer Kev, and the New York Bloods, and then Latin Kings, and the fire went on. So Soul B know how to get know how to get the engine working. But definitely shout out to East Harlem. I gotta give my early morning cadence to where I'm from. Shout out to the Lex Mob, the Hilltop, Hilltop on Lexington Avenue, PT 131, TDO, TWB, East Army, FTW, FEB, Flow Boys, Lynch Mob on 112th Street on the east side, Jeff Mob on 115th Street, Flow Boys, Rush Mob, Gold Rush Mob, High Post, SMS, FTW, FEB, the guys, the LBC crew, 104th Street, Carver Mob, Lehman, my boys on Madison, Lehman projects in East Harlem. But we here, party people. Let's get it going. 117th Street, the Down Boys and all that. Down Boys, Blue Top Mafia, whatever generation you want to speak about. But definitely we here, we in the building, we making things happen, Captain. Well, a couple of weeks ago, like I said, on Mav Hoffa's show, Soul B was speaking, that had been me up there. He brought up something about Jimmy Henchman. And this is what he had to say about Jimmy Henchman.
The streets above all to this day. He'll show you more respect than the biggest rapper in the world. Something you may not know. Nothing you may not know. And this is how that
Soul B. Soul B.
My man Jimmy Henchman, I don't know if any of y'all. We know Jimmy. Jimmy was supposed to be released with Lou Hobbs November 21st, 2021. Trump gave him a party. Right? 50 Cent has his lawyers write the committee and said verbatimly, if you release that name, my life and a lot of other individual lives would be in danger. Right after that was in December. January, Trump got impeached. My man got 8 life sentences. They took him off of that. He's still in prison right now. I can't agree to that.
Now, shout out to Bimmy, shout out to the whole Matt Hoffa situation. That's what Soul B said. What I know about Jimmy Henchman is being he's a boss. He's into the music industry. His name is into a lot of sketchy things, and even his name has come up in the Tupac situation. Now, I'm not going to talk about why he's in jail or some of the situations that led to him getting 8 life sentences, but Jimmy Henchman is known on Rikers Island in the 80s, and there was times when there was a guy named Poodle from the east side that had run-ins from him from East Harlem. He had a couple of good run-ins. Rest in peace, Poodle from Lexington, but he ran with the Carver Mob. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely, you know what I'm saying? So Jimmy Henchman is I would say, he come from the cloth. He's been around. He was on Rikers Island with the best of them. He was in the streets with the best of them. Flatbush, so definitely shout out to Flatbush, Brooklyn, and other areas he may have frequented. For some real reason, he got in hip hop, in the music industry. I won't say just hip hop, but the music industry, and in like the first or second generation of the music industry. He started becoming managers. You'd be surprised who he managed. So Jimmy Henchman been around. You know what I'm saying? I know your love to my Haitian Jack, but Jimmy was definitely around. Now, I guess a week later, because what we do now, we are going to produce receipts. We're going to talk about a little something, but we're going to produce produce receipts, because you do have to remember that Jimmy Henchman is not laying down like a dog. He's fighting for his freedom. So a lot of things have to be allegedly, allegations, and I don't think it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because the man is fighting for his freedom. Now, where my man is at? Now, where's the guys at? This went crazy. Here it goes. Now this is what Tony Yayo says. Tony Yayo says that Jimmy Henchman was jealous of Chris Lighty. Rest in peace, Chris Lighty. For those in the coastal world who doesn't know who Chris Lighty is, he was Violator Management. He used to manage 50 Cent and a host of others. He used to be a promoter with Mona Scott. Mona Scott, she's the owner of the Love and Hip Hop series, Empire, plus many other things. You know what I'm saying? But Chris Lighty was part of the Violators. Violators was the guys that ran around with Red Alert. When Red Alert was on Kiss FM. It should be Red Alert and the Violators. Definitely Cam Stone's in the build. So they give me a brief description that Chris Lighty is first generation hip hop. He was out on Kiss FM. He was every weekend the Violators. He grew from, they say, carrying records to becoming a hip hop mogul. This is what Yayo had to say about it.
Stupid. They gonna report to the rich nigga. Yeah, that nigga Henchman so cheap, he putting work on niggas' head. I got half a brick on your head. Get them niggas cash, my nigga. What's a half a brick? Get them niggas cash. Fifth knew that. That's why I like Fifth, because he let his nuts hang, nigga. No homo. He ain't one of them scared ass, y'all nigga got to work on it. Because the nigga that got bread, somebody gonna always hit him. These niggas are powerful out here, bro.
Why does it come to this shit, though, bro? Why does it come to this shit?
Definitely shout out to Math Hoffa. I hope he doesn't strike my page for this. It's actually his content, Math Hoffa. His name is Math Hoffa. I don't know the actual name of his platform, but it's Math Hoffa. Definitely, you know what I'm saying? This is the rebuttal. I look at it as part 2 to what So B said about Jimmy Henchman.
This nigga act crazy, like he don't know the history. This is what get me mad with him.
Nah, I know the history.
So let me ask you a question. Who is a pillar of hip hop? Chris Lighty.
Right.
Who wanted to be like Chris Lighty? Jimmy Henchman.
Yeah.
What did Jimmy Henchman do? Move
that.
on the same block as Chris Lighty. Who did Chris Lighty have? LL, Diddy, Free, 50, Buster. He ran the tunnel at 18. Who did Henchman want to be? Chris Lighty. Who was we down with? Chris Lighty. Beef is inherited. Stop.
You see what I said? Chris Lighty. Didn't I say Chris Lighty was involved with promoting parties on Sundays at the Tunnel nightclub? The Tunnel nightclub was owned by a man called Peter Gation, who owned a bunch of city clubs in the Limelight. They had the back like in the 80s, we had the club kids. You could Google this, the club kids. That was a big movement with the ecstasy and the drugs in the club, that downtown music scene. But Peter Gation, he also was an executive producer on the movie Bronx Tale that we all love with Robert De Niro. Yes, his money was in that. He was a club king, and he owned the Tunnel on Sunday nights. That was hip hop night. These are the early years of Hot 97, when the Tunnel was #1. Shout out to Fun Master Flex. Rest in peace to Big Cat, DJ Big Cat. You know what I'm saying? We're doing our due diligence. This is a different time than ever in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And Chris Lighty was all in the mix. Promoted. This is when the Tunnel was doing a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? The Tunnel was a Sunday night spot.
Stop playing, nigga. What's wrong with this nigga? So I beef for Henchman came from fucking Chris Lighty, nigga.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Why would you want to move on the same nigga block? That's like me doing my podcast next door. Am I right for that? Or you gonna want to smoke me? Come on, man. Ladies on 25th. Where Henchman move? Right by the 40-40 next door.
Yeah,
Stop playing, murder. You even fucking know, nigga. Because you was signed to Chris Lighty, nigga. You know Henchman hated on Lighty the whole time. That's the problem with these industry niggas. Y'all always fucking hate.
Where they come from? Where they come from, though, yeah?
How the fuck would I know,
I
nigga?
never knew that. Probably before
I'm not no
them.
industry nigga. I just started coming in the
them.
game.
Probably before Yayo.
Come
They
on,
could have
nigga.
a problem before G-Unit.
See, niggas thought Chris Lighty was a bitch nigga. He was an interested industry nigga. Started hanging with niggas like 50, murder amping him, battering his back. Yo, you ain't pussy. He ran the tunnel out 17. Chris Lighty then shot the fair one with Jimmy Henchman. This mad shit y'all niggas don't know, nigga.
Nah, I know that.
That's why I hate when niggas get on here and talk about niggas they don't know.
Red Alert said right here,
nigga.
Chris Lighty was that deal. You gave him his
Nigga
spot.
was 17, 18,
He
running
said
the
the
most
same thing.
violent club in New York City. You couldn't even wear jewelry.
Red Alert said
Niggas
everything
don't-
you say.
Man, that's
He
what
said
I'm
he was
saying.
getting down. He was
Niggas don't know nothing about his life.
White couldn't wear jewelry.
In the tunnel?
In the tunnel, yeah. White couldn't wear jewelry.
I'm leaving it alone, man. This nigga.
It don't matter. White couldn't wear jewelry. No, I want him to point at his hat. That's why.
Oh,
Point at your hat.
because of Brooklyn?
Yeah,
No.
facts. Facts.
Those niggas from all over, Bronx.
No.
Oh, come on, bro.
My testosterone skyrocketed after I did this.
It was niggas from all over. It was the worst in New York.
Listen, I wasn't. Nigga,
The tunnels where Shane the Woman allegedly caught his case. Coming out of some situations. A lot of goons, gorillas, and goblins was going to the tunnel. But definitely East Harlem, and Harlem was representing crazy in the tunnel. You couldn't mention the tunnel without mentioning Zai. That whole Stingray flow was crazy. From Wagner to Lincoln, to Stinking Lincoln. From Wagner to Stinking Lincoln. AK, all that. The East Side was crazy. The East Side was crazy in that tunnel. Rest in peace to Zai. Salute to the Flow Boys. You heard? Yeah. That was that time. That was that era. You know what I'm saying? Them Harlem dudes, I was buying cases of that champagne, making 4 or 5 cases, making 6 cases. This is serious, man. This is serious. Let's get back to the get down. And I never knew that Chris Lighty had a fight with Jimmy Henchman. Never heard that story before. So see, we're learning a lot of things from Yayo. That's a point to look at. Now think about it. What he said about Jimmy Henchman, he put bricks on people's head. Not the bag, but a bird on somebody's head. You listen, I got 2 bricks, smoke them. I got 500 grams, get it. Jimmy played a different type of game, man. You know what I'm saying? So you allegedly, gotta say allegedly, but you listen to what Jimmy, you just heard what Yayo just said. This is what Yayo's saying. He's around in circles. We ain't never heard he had a fight with militia in those cliques. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't even fucking.
But like I said,
I wasn't even.
who was 17 running
and
the
I was
tunnel?
outside.
Who was 17 running the tunnel? Chris Lighty. So all right. So if a nigga ain't hating, so let me put my podcast right next to y'all shit. Fuck it. That's not no hating shit. Like niggas gotta stop picking and choosing. Like niggas been heard Henchman was a rap back in the days telling niggas they're gonna escape from jail. Like niggas be picking and choosing. Y'all rap niggas pick and choose. That's why I don't give a fuck. You don't gotta fuck with me. You don't gotta like me. I don't care. And I feel better about myself about that. Cause I don't care.
So you saying Tekashi ain't the only rap that they jacking?
You ready?
You ready to go?
I don't want to talk about God. I don't have nothing to do with these guys. I don't like talking about these guys.
Hip hop police.
Oh man,
Still fucked up today like it was back then.
Ooh.
Hip hop police.
I mean, hip hop police, I think it's really not there because they got cameras now. So see what they do in the hood is they let niggas kill each other, and the feds come later.
yeah.
Niggas ain't never been in the feds. You gotta be in. I did a skit bid in the feds, and I seen a nigga, my man Sassy Bodies. He had a Nike box. What's that? That's my wiretaps. Nigga won't wire me for 3 years.
Wow.
That's why we used to get in the cars. Shh. We smart niggas. That's how Junior survived. Smart. 50 was smart. Genius. Nah, we can't be gang. Niggas gonna get conspiracy. You gang. I'm not gang. Because all the feds do now is so many cameras, they watch niggas kill each other. Come on.
Fact.
You know it's a business.
Fact, kid. I broke all this shit down.
It's all a business, man.
I wrote all that
When
shit.
you move out the hood, you ain't gotta deal with that shit. Stop the violence. That's the thing about the media. Y'all gotta stop amping shit, man. Look at Tax Stone and that Troy ass shit. That should be over bullshit, homie. Like, I don't be with this internet shit. Because when shit get real, like I said, and feds and homicide knocking at your door, and niggas got cases, and hip-hop police following you home. Like, niggas ain't never been through the ringer, bro. This shit is real.
How does this shit get across the line? Because everybody,
What do you mean?
Everybody in here picked up a pen to write their rhymes or whatever, and you had your little rap battles on the corner in the lobby.
I don't understand how this nigga don't understand. He never said, you know what, Yayo, you right. Niggas ain't loyal.
Let me finish what I'm
Just
saying.
say niggas ain't loyal. Niggas put you in position, just like the drug game. The biggest drug dealer, he be the one out the group. Come on, I study this shit. God fix all these niggas. Niggas be hustling. Be that one nigga. Yo, man, fuck that nigga, man. I want to fuck his bitch. I want his man. It's always that hater nigga in the background. I never been that hater
Niggas trying to be too real, bro.
Nah.
That's the issue.
Nah.
Niggas trying to be too real. Trying to live up to the rap. Oh, nigga, diss me in a rhyme. We gotta kill his whole family now. We gotta send the goons out. It gotta turn into some street shit.
So if you walk in the street, so if a nigga you walk in the street and your daughter gotta go to school and the nigga just said, yo, your mama could suck my dick, you think shit don't get real? Think about it. Math Hoffa, fuck your kids.
That is.
No disrespect to you, but you think that shit, you think niggas ain't human and shit don't get to niggas,
That's a
nigga?
line not to be crossed.
You
When
think
it comes
niggas
to
shit
this rap
don't,
shit,
just
when
like
it
in
comes to
battle rap.
Will Smith
Nigga,
just
what
showed
you
no
saying?
rap. Will Smith just showed them that
Yeah. Let's
everybody
stop
takes
playing,
shit and
man.
feel how they feel.
Niggas snap out here. I don't play
But
games
you know
with
he
niggas.
wrong though. He was wrong.
Nah.
We can say he was
I'm not
wrong, but who's to say
wrong
he
or
was
right.
wrong?
He's rich. How he wrong? He rich. How he wrong? What you
I'm
talking
just saying,
about?
you rich. No. I'm not gonna say that.
Nigga,
I'm
rich,
not
he
gonna
ain't
say
never
'cause
wrong,
he rich,
nigga.
not wrong,
It's
but
the way of the world.
I'm saying for
What's
some
this
people,
about?
he ain't
Paper?
wrong.
That's what everybody about. Paper, right?
That's not reality.
Nigga, I could go do charity and niggas don't give a fuck. I bought a passport chain. That shit hit 300, 400K, hot 97. It chain viral. Niggas don't give a fuck what I do. I could be feeding the homeless out here.
That's a
As
fact.
soon as a shootout happen, niggas want to know what's going on.
That's a
Nigga.
fact.
Come on, nigga. Negative news spread faster. Nigga, 50 said that.
You wanna know
money
why?
back.
Because he's mad at fucked up people. So they attracted to negative shit.
You gotta leave that shit. That's what it is.
That's really what it is.
It's called the Expert Opinion. Yo, that was Yayo speaking on, you know, Jimmy Henchman and Jimmy Henchman's hate mail. You know what I'm saying? I guess Jimmy Henchman never liked Chris Lighty. That's how he took him. Not liked him, but let me be real first, but was jealous of him. Now, over the months, Soul B brought the conversation up about the party. You know what I'm saying? And I remember months back, Crown had the pardon paper from the conversation. So I said, wait a minute. Let me let the audience hear this conversation and see what does it have to do with 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? So I am gonna. So now it goes into the Crown TV News. It's from Crown TV News. The truth about Jimmy Henchman's pardon and Rallo, somebody from Atlanta's sentencing and trial. Let's get there, party people. This was 8 months ago. Shout out to Crown Court TV. You heard? We deal with the receipts over here. You know what I mean?
So that's just for those who may be confused and think that Jimmy is just as good. Yo, what's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to Crown TV News, brought to you by Crown TV and CrownTVNews.com.
Hold on. I want to talk about Rallo.
The Rallo case and the latest developments and what's going on with that. And I also want to touch on
the Jimmy Henchman release, the alleged pardon, I'm saying that for a reason, and everything surrounding that, and how it may not be as cut and dry as many people may think. Now, it's been 4 long years since Wallo and his co-defendants were picked up in April of 2018. It is now January of 2022, and this case is still going on. The remaining 4 co-defendants who have not taken a plea in this case are seriously looking like they are preparing for trial. This trial was originally scheduled for yesterday, January 25th. It has now been moved to June 21st of 2022. As I said, all signs point to these remaining 4 co-defendants, William Rhodes, Antoine Morrison, Manu Jones, and Latoris Bridges, taking this case to trial, even though the person at the top of the indictment, which is Wallo, has already taken his plea deal. Now, each of these people are facing multiple counts of possession with intent to distribute. Y'all know this is a marijuana case, with the exception of William Rhodes, who is facing firearm charges. Wallo himself is scheduled to be sentenced on March 17th. As of now, if y'all remember last year, he pled out to 7 counts in this indictment. And for that, he is facing a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of 40 years in prison. We also know that he was forced to forfeit several properties, including the...
And you know when we get to the 30, you know that 30-30, that 30-30, we get the 30-30 in. Let's get that 30-30 in, you know what I'm saying? Let's get that 30-30 in, you know what I'm saying? This is we getting somewhere where we need to get, you know what I'm saying? Where we need to be. Now, let's reset this, to set the room for those that just jumped in the room. Soul B was on Mav Hoffa's show, Expert Opinion, and he said some things about you know what I'm saying? And he said basically that 50 Cent has some lawyers intercept his pardon, Jimmy Henchman's pardon, that allegedly that the ex-president Donald Trump was about to give him. So now we're touching on the actual pardon information.
Pakistan,
But we're starting off with Wallo sentencing, and then we're getting here.
Which is what drew me to Wallo, along with millions of dollars in jewelry and money. Wallo and his lawyers put up, or at least laid the groundwork for what I thought was going to be an incredible argument in this case. It dealt with private planes and the expectation of privacy. We did a long, detailed video on that, but for some reason, he changed his mind. That argument alone is what took up most of this time. Some of it was COVID, but like I said, this was going on long before the pandemic. I want to know what y'all think about this case and whether or not these remaining 4 people should go to trial. Y'all let me know about that in the comments. I want to move on to this Jimmy Henchman case.
Pay attention.
A lot of people think this is a cut and dry case. It is not. This is something that is going to take a lot of arguing and possibly a controversial decision by this judge. The reason for me saying that is that the pardon that people think exists does not actually exist, meaning Donald Trump never signed a pardon to release Jimmy Henchman. The reason that this is even a thing is the work of Jim Brown, who is a very respected person in these high circles. He has been working on this Jimmy Henchman release since Obama, and he finally, according to him, got Trump to say over the phone that he had decided to release Jimmy Henchman, and he said this in front of his staff. The argument being made in court is that this verbal declaration is just as good as a signed pardon. This is an argument more than it is a fact. So a judge has to sit down and listen to both sides argue, and based on his knowledge of law and prior cases or whatever he may have at his disposal, and decide whether or not that is true. So that's just for those who may be confused and think that Jimmy Henchman was given a signed pardon that was not honored, and this thing is cut and dry. It is not. This is something that we gotta wait and see played out, and honestly, the chances may be 50-50. Who knows? We want to know what y'all think about it and what y'all think the chances are, as always. So let us know in the comments. Also, let us know what y'all think about the Rollo case and the remaining 4 co-defendants preparing for trial. What do you think their chances are? Do you think they should take it to trial at all? Also, we are preparing to start a live show on this particular channel. So we need y'all to help us out on this particular channel. Go to a playlist, let it play. We need those watch hours before we start the show, and we really want to do that. It's a call-in show. We want to allow everybody to call in, talk to us, give us y'all opinions. We really want to do this year, so help us out, please. Thank y'all for tuning in to Crown TV News, brought to you by crowntv.com. Please make sure y'all go check out the website. I go by the name of Prince. Peace.
Now, so this was 8 months ago when he was working on bringing it to the courthouse. This was a phone call made between, I guess, Jim Brown and Trump, and he says that Trump said that he would pardon him in a room full of people. We don't know who's at the club, he was golfing. I don't know what Trump's whereabouts was at. What they're saying is there was nothing written on paper, and a phone call. They're fighting over the legality. You know the words of that phone call. Is that phone call the same as a written document saying that he was going to pardon the man? Now, I would have had him pardon him, or at least would have had recorded the phone call. May sound policious, but this is his words, and then you have a strong fight. Now you have to pray that the White House has this recorded phone call that you say it happened. Now Trump may have said, yo, I had the phone call. Yeah, we spoke about it, but it was a conversation. But he can always, turn another cheek to the conversation. Like, nah, I don't know nothing about no pardon, but he did bring up Jimmy Henchman's name. We don't know. But we know that they're going to court over a phone call. This is what's being said on Crown Courts TV. There's no documents being signed. There wasn't there was no meetings with no lawyers, and there was no oral. What we mean oral, see, what they're trying to say is the oral statement was in the phone call, but is there a recording in the phone call? And, the court of law. Let's see how the law look at that. Some of you legal ladies out here that's online going crazy and checking the facts. Is that elite? Is that enough to pardon him? Now, I didn't hear 50 Cent's name in this. I didn't hear a lawyer's attack. Maybe that's some like behind the scenes situation. But I'm happy that So Be brought the conversation up. We got the receipts. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a phone call. Now, boom, exactly. Y'all speak on this. Because a lot of times we get caught up in somebody saying something online, and we're not dealing with the facts. That's why I'm bringing, and even with this show I just did, I might get some copyright. I might get hit because Math Hopper, People's Team might feel like, yo, Z Black used our content. But I have to do this. I had to do it so that you guys, and if he does hit mine, I won't be mad. I won't look like he's telling because it's his content. But I had to use his content to get my point across. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't anything signed. So now that we understand that part of the conversation, why would 50 Cent backdoor the situation if there was nothing signed? I think like I told you, I'm a journalist. There's some things that's got to make sense. If there's nothing signed, I'm not gonna give my lawyer $30,000 to find out what's up. Maybe 50 did that part. Yo, let me find out if this guy's gonna get a pardon. That's anybody though. He was an op. You know what I'm saying? You find he's gonna really get a pardon. You know what I'm saying? But he talked crazy. Unless you go into the facts. And that's one thing with this media, I'm realizing we have to go into the facts. We can't go off of just what somebody say because we deem them to be credible. We deem them to be credible. We got 47, let's get to the 40. We do the 40-40 club. You ever been Midtown 40-40 club? You start popping bottles, you start doing the funny dances. You got the bucket hat on with a nice polo shirt. You know how we do, you know what I'm saying? It's a different. It's we're giving you New York for you guys that's not from New York. Let's give me the 40. That's not from New York. We're breaking down this situation so you guys will get the wrong impression that 50 Cent is calling lawyers to keep individuals in jail. We do have to keep in mind that Jimmy Henchman has 8 life sentences. We do have to keep that in mind, party people. Jimmy Henchman has 8 life sentences. So it would take one hell of a lawyer, one hell of a president to give him a pardon. It's gonna take Trump to become president again for Jimmy to go home. So for a lot of you, for all you guys that would like Jimmy Henchman to come home, set up those voting drives and get those votes in, because that's the only way you can get out of that situation. Unless they find a loophole. We don't wish jail on nobody. I mean, let's just to speak on some things that because there are some things that Yayo said. Let's get there. Jimmy Roseman opening statements. Okay, you want to know the Jimmy Henchman's tell? Let me go into the opening statements. That's the best I could do. I'm gonna go into some content that detail. We're doing Babe, Jimmy Henchman, assistant driver, 10 years, took a stand against him. Okay, let's check this out. Abdullah testified about Jimmy Henchman having charges pressed on G-Unit members. Let's check this out. Could this be telling? Hold on. I'm talking about the situation, party people. The people that's not from New York. Let's get to that 40. You know, we get to the 40. Somebody came, so this asked, did Jimmy Henchman snitch? You know what I'm saying? Cam Stone Network asked, did Jimmy Henchman snitch? Let's get to the 40. Where are my Haitians at? Sa passe. Where are my Haitians at? Sa passe. All my island people. Where are my Haitians at? Sa passe. Did Jimmy Henchman snitch? Now, you know what? I never really realized why 50 Cent keep calling Jimmy Henchman a rat. But now, let's go there. Crown Courts TV. Crown TV Courts. Abdullah testifies about Jimmy Henchman having charges pressed on G-Unit member Tony Yayo. So he not only allegedly had Tony Yayo house shot up, he also allegedly called 911 on the guy, pressed charges on him for, I guess, most likely slapping his son.
Moving forward in time, are you aware of a meeting that occurred after that time that related to the feud? The only meeting I know Jimmy and Chris Lighty had. How do you know that? Jimmy told me. And what did he tell you happened? They just had a meeting about this situation, and he said Chris Lighty was asking why he went to that ghetto event anyway, and they exchanged words, and it got out of hand, and Chris mushed him in the face. What do you mean by mushed? Pushed him with his hand in the face? And what happened after that? Nothing, except Puffy broke the meeting up. Who is Puffy? Puffy, Diddy, whatever his name is now. Is that another musician? Yes. Did Jimmy tell you what he was doing at that meeting? He said they had a meeting to talk about the situation, to squash whatever beef it was. And why was Puffy there? To mediate the meeting. Did the meeting end after that point? Yes, as far as I know. I'm going to move you forward a few months again. Did there come a time when you learned of an incident involving Jimmy's son? Yes. What happened? He called me and said, dudes just smacked my son. I said, all right, let me know if you need anything. Where were you when he called you? I was at my office. Do you know what year this occurred? Sometime in '07. Do you know what month? No. Okay. When he called you, what did he say? He just said, dude smacked my son. I said, okay, let me know if you need anything. He was like, all right, I gotta go. And we hung up. How long was that conversation? About a minute. And at that time, had you already begun dealing drugs with Jimmy? No. Did he say who had done it? Who had smacked his son? No. Eventually, did you learn who had smacked his son? Yes. How did you learn? We met face to face and he told me what happened. Who did you meet with face to face? Jimmy. Tell us about that meeting. He just told me that his son was walking up the block and Yayo and two dudes approached him. One reached in his waist like he had a pistol, gun. Another one grabbed him and they smacked him. Did he say who was behind it?
This guy named Abdullah. Abdullah testifies about Jimmy Henchman having charges pressed to him. I guess he's testifying. He's one of the individuals that's testifying against Jimmy Henchman, and he's also mentioned the situation with Jimmy Henchman's son and how Jimmy Henchman pressed charges on Tony Yayo.
He just said Yayo and two dudes. Did he say who those two dudes were? No. Did Jimmy tell you if he did anything to retaliate? Tiff was there that day. He said he sent Tiff down the block and Tiff cut somebody in the face. I think it was supposed to be Chris Leidy's brother or someone related to Chris Leidy. What do you mean by cut? With a razor, cut him in the face. At this time, had you met Jimmy's son? Yes. I'm going to show you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 22. It is actually in evidence as Government Exhibit 1008. Do you recognize the photograph? Uh-huh. Who is this? Jimmy's son. Do you know his name? Jimmy. Do you know his full name? Jimmy Roseman Jr. Do you know where Jimmy's office was located at the time? 25th, between I think 6th and Broadway. What was the name of his company? Czar Entertainment. Do you know the name of the company that managed G-Unit? Yeah, Violator. Where was that company located? The same block right across the street. I'm going to show you a few photographs. Government Exhibit 600A, marked for identification as Government Exhibit 600A. Do you recognize this photograph? Yeah. What is that? Can you zoom it in a little bit? Yeah. What is this photograph? It's the entrance to the office. Which office? Czar. I'm going to show you 600C. This is in evidence. What is the...
Now, all this is downtown Manhattan. This is 23rd Street, I believe. This is downtown Manhattan. This is where the money at, downtown Manhattan.
This photograph? That's the entrance to Violator. I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 600S. Do you recognize this? Yes, it's 11 West. That's our entertainment's office. I'm going to also show you what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 600T. That's the block, 25th Street. 25th Street. And do you see where it says 11? Yeah. What is that? That's 11. That's the Czar Entertainment office. That's the church. Can we go back for a moment to Government Exhibit 600A, which is in evidence? Is that the same building? No, that's not the same one. Do you have an understanding of what building this is? Objection. Asked and answered, Your Honor. Yeah, because I can't really tell from that view. I don't know what building that is right there. Your Honor, I made an objection. Thank you, Mr. Choger. I'm happy to move on, Your Honor. Yes. Can we take that down, please? I direct your attention to the spring of 2007. Do you recall an incident where Jimmy was involved in a shooting? I don't know if I would classify it as involved in a shooting, but he was at the a banquet. It was at National Action Network banquet. Me, Jason, Teddy, a few other people was at the table. He was like, yo, if anybody asked for me, I went to the bathroom. And he said he got a line on Yayo Mom's house. I'm going to stop you for a moment. What was the banquet you were at, if you recall? National Action Network. It was in Times Square. Who else attended that function? Jason, Teddy, me, a few other people I can't recall. Who was Teddy? Teddy was the guy who worked for Jimmy. Do you know his last name? Coleman. Who was Jason? Jimmy's driver. And what was Teddy's relationship to Jimmy? He worked for him. Where? At Czar Entertainment. Was he involved in the drug operation? No. Showing you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 6. Who is that? Jason. Can you describe for the jury what happened at that event? He's just like, yo, I got a line on Yayo Mom's crib. He said, Jason going to drive me out there. He said that if anybody asked for me, I'm in the bathroom. He left. We stayed at the banquet. He came back sometime later. I'm going to stop you for a moment. Who left? Jimmy did. Did anyone leave with him? Jason. And who was it who stayed? Me, Teddy, and other people that was at the table. And approximately how long was he gone for? I don't know. It wasn't that long. More than an hour? If that, yeah, if that. What, if anything, did he tell you when he returned to that banquet? He got back to the banquet. After the banquet, we went outside, and he was just telling me that he left off like close to 30 rounds in Yayo Mom's crib. When you say crib, what are you referring to? House. Yayo Mom's house. Did he say more about that? He said he didn't hear nothing because he had the silencer. He said, but at the end, the silencer started making some clunk clunk noise. So he said he can't use it no more. What is a silencer? A suppressor so the gun won't make no sound. Did he say what gun he used? He said his Mac. I don't know which one. I never saw it. Whose gun was that? Jimmy's. How do you know? From him telling me. So what, if anything, did he say he wanted to do? He said he needed to replace it. Replace what? The gun. Why was that? Because it started making noise. By that time, had you begun selling drugs with the defendant? I don't know. I can't recall. Did you participate yourself in any other acts of violence against members of G-Unit? I had one of their Jeeps burnt, their bulletproof Jeeps. When did that take place? It was in 2007. Jimmy hit me, told me he had an address of one of their Jeeps out in Jersey, not too far from where I live. He said if I could get somebody to burn it for him. When did you say that was? Sometime in 2007. Was it before or after the banquet you had just described? I can't recall. So what did the defendant tell you he had? He had an address on one of their bulletproof Jeeps. So what did you do? I sent someone out there to set it on fire. Where did you say these Jeeps were? In Jersey. It was Inglewood or Teaneck, one or the other. You said you sent someone.
As suburban as Inglewood and Teaneck sounds, that's the same place Lil T just almost got assassinated at, in Inglewood, Jersey. I also moved people to Inglewood a couple of times when I was doing the moving thing. It's a nice community, but it's rough and edgy. A lot of cats move to Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? Those parts of Jersey. Just give you a brief description. That's where Lil TJ, the same area in Inglewood, is where TJ, the attempt robbery that went wrong. You know what I'm saying? Happened with TJ, the Inglewood section of Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Who did you send? I sent Aziz out there. He set it on fire. In relation to when Jimmy's son was slapped, which you told us about earlier, was this before or after that? This was after that. And the defendant you said had an address. Did he give you that address? Yes. How did he give it to you? You know, I can't recall. It was either through the BlackBerry or face-to-face. I can't recall. And what did you do when you got the address? Sent him out there to burn it? I just told Aziz, I said, pour some gasoline on it and light it on fire for me and I'll give you $5,000. Do you know if Aziz in fact did that? Yes. How do you know? He came back and told me. I told Jimmy. He said, all right, he's going to send Jason out there to look at it. Jason went out there and looked at it and confirmed it. What did he confirm? That it was burnt. Did you in fact pay Aziz $5,000? Yeah, I gave him $5,000. Could you say that again? Yes, I gave him $5,000. Were you reimbursed for that $5,000? I had owed Jimmy some money, so I just took it out of that. You took it out of the money you owed Jimmy? Yeah. I think you said it, but what is Aziz's full name? Ronald Ashby. How do you know him? We grew up in the same neighborhood. We was in jail together. Did there come a time when you learned of any other acts of violence similar to that one? Tiff had burnt and shot a Jeep up out in Staten Island. Objection, Your Honor. What is the objection? Does he have first-hand knowledge of it? I'm about to establish it. Mr. Toger, I can't understand you. Does he have first-hand knowledge of this, or is he testifying that somebody told him, or did he get it on the internet? Lay a foundation. Yes or no, did there come a time when you learned of that? Yes. And how did you learn about that? From Jimmy and Tiff. And did you learn about it in any other way? I saw it on the internet. What did you see on the internet? The incident that transpired in Staten Island. What transpired? Tiff shooting up. Objection, Your Honor. The internet was the supplier of the source, or lay a proper foundation. Did you speak to Tiff about that incident? Yes. What did Tiff tell you? Tiff told me he shot up the house, this dude Baja's house, shot up the Jeep and burnt it. Did he say where Baja's house was? It was in Staten Island. Do you know Baja? No. Do you know how he was involved, if you know? I just heard that he was at the scene. Do you know if in fact that happened? Yes. How do you know that? I saw the article on the internet. Did anyone else tell you about it? And me and Jimmy discussed it. Do you know if Tiff did that by himself or with anyone else? I don't know if he did it with anyone else. I just know that he got arrested leaving the scene. You said that Jimmy initially told you that Yayo and two dudes smacked his son. Did he later tell you who the other dudes were? Just found out after the dudes Lodi Mac got arrested. He was one of the ones. So did there come a time when you learned about those arrests? Yes. How did you learn about them? Jimmy told me about them. What did he say? He said that he was having his son's ma press charges and the dude Lodi Mac and Yayo got arrested for it. Press charges about what? For the assault on his son. Do you know who got arrested, if anyone? Yayo and Lodi Mac. Do you know Lodi Mac's real name? Lowell Fletcher.
Yo, how many times have we heard that story? You rob somebody or violate them, and instead of them telling on you, they get their girl to do it. That's crazy. After hearing Jimmy Henchman's story, even hearing him putting his story, his get down on the whole Tupac situation, he ran around goons and goblins. And this is beef he has is a hip hop beef with 50 Cent, not a street hip hop beef. Yo, go press charges on him. Google, is Jimmy Henchman? Who's Jimmy Henchman? Jimmy Henchman. He's a hip hop entrepreneur. He ran an entertainment called Czar Entertainment. He was managing Brandy, another rapper named Game. Also, he allegedly had a beef with 50 Cent, and he pressed charges against Tony Yayo and a guy named Lodi Mack. He's doing 8 life sentences, and according to Jim Brown, was given a pardon over a phone call. Can't make this shit up. Even Google knows the truth. So now I see when 50 Cent calls you a snitch and a rat. Yo, Jimmy, man, you come from a cloth. You was on Rikers Island cutting dudes when it was Muslims against the gods. When you had the Israelites against when it was crazy, you had things like the La Familia. And you told Bryford you'll press charges against the niggas. How dirty and dingy and dangerous is that? You're gonna press charges while I have dudes shoot at them. Yo, son. Yo, you can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this up. And you want us to sit around and listen to the dudes that he's sitting around. You sent the goons at him. You sent the police. So now Jimmy's supposed to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to send the police at him. You're going to disarm them. And he's pushing the button on them, burning up cars and bulletproof cars and shooting houses up. Meanwhile, back at the lab, Google. Now I gotta go to Wikipedia on this shit. This is deeper. This is deeper than deep. Wikimedia. Who is Jimmy Henchman? Jimmy Henchman is a hip hop entrepreneur with Czar Entertainment, and according to the rapper 50 Cent, is the biggest rat on the East Coast since Donnie Brasco. It's been known that he has ties to the NYPD due to his baby mother, and as well as has some conflicting statements stating that he did not want his co-defendants to kill Lodi Mack. He just wanted them to allegedly beat on him. You know what I'm saying? Can't make this shit up. Even Wikimedia know that nigga dirty. You know what I'm saying? You're beefing with, you're stalking, at this point, you're stalking Chris Lighty. Everywhere he go, you go. You're bumping heads, you're having a beef. These two rappers is beefing. You're right next to each other. Over a guy that's from California, the game. Jimmy, this is insane, bro. We done seen you on the real 50 Cent documentary talking about who you cut, who you on the island with gun for gun. You been with the Haitians. All in all, you'll call 911 in a flash. You'll call the cops. So fuck that. He going to jail. Yo, you can't make this shit up, man. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest with you, man. Yo, let's get this to 40 likes. Let's get this to 40. Let's get to that 40-40 club. You know what I'm saying? This is very, it's very educational, though, because we hear a lot of the sidebars. We hear a lot of the side conversations, but we're not really listening. You know what I'm saying? I think the listening skills, we have hold on a second. Now Jimmy Henchman don't play a fair game. He definitely the man definitely don't play a fair game, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna front. Now I see why 50 Cent be the way he be with him. Now I understand why 50 be the way he be with him. Like, you don't even play fair. He turned the hip hop beef into a real beef where dudes are shooting up cars, blowing up $100,000 cars, those bulletproof cars. It was too much going on for him just to go, yo, son, let's have some peace. You know what I'm saying? And Now, at some point, at some point in time in the game, that's why let's get to that 40. Yo, that's crazy. He really went to war with them, man. You know what I'm saying? He really went to war with them. This is insane. Damn. So did Jimmy like Chris Lady? That Chris Lady situation sounded very sensitive. He had a real beef with this Haitian that was on his back. It sounds crazy, man. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? This is deep, man, because now it goes, Abdullah testifies about Chris Lady and his family being set up by his own people. Wow. Let's get there, party people. This is
associate's degree.
let's get the 40, man. Crown Courts TV, you know what I'm saying?
Degree, doctoral degree.
Did anything else happen with respect to the slap? Objection. Sustained. You mentioned that Jimmy had his son's mother press charges. What did you mean by that? He had pressed charges against a dude who assaulted his son. Criminal charges? Criminal. Were there any other charges? A lawsuit was filed. Do you know what happened to that lawsuit?
Damn.
It was dismissed. Now,
Yo, this Jimmy Henchman nigga is dangerous. He not only shot a nigga house up, allegedly got a nigga killed, had Chris Lady's brother allegedly cut, torpedoed him up the court of police. He even went as far as suing him. Yo, this can't make this up. This guy is dirty deeds. This guy's dirty deeds. Yo, this is out of control. There's a lawsuit. He's suing 50. Yo, are we in the streets? This is crazy, man. Now seriously, this is bad. And at all costs, he wanted this shit to affect 50 lives. So just imagine at all costs what it was doing to Chris Lady and his family. This Haitian was on some, this nasty, disgusting, this degrading work. I'm listening to this like, if he was doing this to 50, imagine the pressure he was putting on Chris Lady in his life.
you testified previously that Chris Lighty was the manager of G Unit. Have you ever seen Chris Lighty in person? Yes. When did you see him? Last time was at a New Year's Eve party. We was all at some hotel in Miami. When was that? Obviously New Year's Eve. But do you know what year? 07 going to 08, I think. Who was at that party? Just a bunch of family and friends. Was Jimmy there? Yes. Anyone else that you recall? Teddy, his son, his family and friends. And what happened when you saw Chris Lighty at that New Year's party? Nothing really. Went and shook somebody's hand that was with us, and me and Jimmy was standing there. So we said, there go that clown right there. And Chris walked away. Now, prior to this incident that night, where were you? We were at Jimmy's house having dinner. I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 50. Do you recognize this photograph? Yeah, on the patio. Who is this? That's me and Jimmy. Which one is you? The one on the right. And the left is Jimmy. Where was this photograph taken? On his patio. Government offers Government Exhibit 50. Received. Moving forward a little bit in time, did there come a time when you spoke to Jimmy about action he wanted to take against Chris Lighty? Chris had some dude that was supposed to be allegedly a friend of his, and he had told Jimmy he'll give him an address of where him and Chris was meeting at. He said, but just don't kill him. Who was this who said this? Some guy that was supposed to be a friend of Chris. How did you learn about it? from Jimmy. So what did Jimmy tell you, if anything, he wanted to do? Said he just wanted to give Chris a leg shot. What's a leg shot? Have him shot in the leg. So did the defendant ask you to do anything in relation to this? One night he hit me up on the BlackBerry and was like, yo, light-skinned dude gonna be at this restaurant in Midtown somewhere in Manhattan. He said, see if you can get somebody to come through and handle that. Did you know who he meant when he said light-skinned dude? Yeah, Chris Lighty. What was he telling you to do? Have somebody come through and give him a leg shot? You mentioned he said this to you on a BlackBerry. Was that your encrypted BlackBerry? Yes. Where did he say Chris Lighty would be? At some restaurant in Manhattan. And what did you do, if anything? I said okay and put the phone down, kept watching TV, hit him back a few minutes later and was like, yo, wait for my guy to hit me back, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Then he hit me back asking me what's up, and I was like, nah, I don't think we're gonna be able to come through. And then he was like, all right. Where were you at this time? I was at home. Where was home? It was in Jersey. And when you responded to the defendant, what were you telling him? I was telling him that I couldn't get nobody to do it. Did you look for somebody to do it? Nah, I told him it was a bad idea. Why did you think it was a bad idea? It was all gonna point back to us. By that time, a dude, Lodi Mac, had got knocked off, so I was gonna paper. It was a lot of going on with the drugs. You know, Stash House had got raided. It was just too much going on to be having Chris clapped in the leg. Chris was a square. His father was ex-law enforcement. Nobody had time for that nonsense, man. So it's like, Abdul, this is a bad idea right now. When said Chris was a square, what do you mean by that? He wasn't in the street, man. He had no street affiliation. Who gonna just walk up and shoot him in the leg for no reason? Do you remember approximately when this is? Probably it went to 09. Did you speak with Jimmy about this afterwards? Yeah, we spoke. He was just like, it could have got done. I was like, how, bro? I said, a loud shot in Midtown Manhattan, somebody going to jail, bro. And he was like, look, it could have got done. If I was around, I could have did it myself. Did you have any other conversations with...
Now look at this, what he just said about Chris Lighty. Chris Lighty, who ran with the violators, it's old Chris, the Lighty brothers. Chris may not have been in the street every 5 minutes, but Chris was outside, man. What's wrong with y'all, man? A square? They ran with Red Alert. Red Alert's in the music industry. Now they're making better moves. But the Bronx was still dangerous. No matter where you was from in the Bronx, definitely, come on, you know what the Bronx was like in 1988, 89, 1991. At least from 1988 to 1995, Bronx was a war zone, man. He was running around with Red Alert. He was making moves. The violators. What's wrong with him, man? See, that's what Jimmy told them dudes. Oh, you're a square, you're a nerd, look at him, he's doing this and that and the third. Y'all went for that. Yeah, Chris was in particular, he was a smart guy. But back in the days, it wasn't cool to be a dumb, like somebody that was like to be intelligent was the move back in the days. It wasn't, even if you was hustling, you had to have some type of smarts. Nobody wanted to hang around a dummy all day. Somebody be, nobody wanted to be around it all day. That's crazy what he just told him, you know what I'm saying?
Jimmy about Chris Lighty? Nah, another time Tori was setting up on him down at this restaurant in Houston. The same dude who was supposed to be Chris' friend was lining him up again. And Tori was sitting on him down at Houston's. And I found out about it, hit Tori up. What is Houston's? A restaurant. Where? They have them all over, but this one was down on Park and in the 20s. So what did the...
That's Manhattan, like Park Ave in the 20s, going towards downtown. That's like going towards 14th Street, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, going going towards 23rd Street actually. 23rd Street stops off Park, but Park Ave, yeah.
Defendant tell you Tori was doing was sitting on Chris down there. What does that mean? Sitting there waiting for him to come out of Houston's to put the leg shot in him?
Damn.
And so what event, you said you contacted Tori, is that correct? Yeah, Tori is like, yo, it don't look good down here. There's a police car right in front of Houston's. I was like, all right, bro, you need to just spread out, then just go ahead and leave. He said, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. What did you mean by spread out? Leave. What did Tori tell you he was there to do? Give him a leg shot. Give who a leg shot? Chris Lighty. Did Tori say whether he was by himself or with others? He said he had his shooter with him. And how was it, if you know, that the defendant was getting information about the location of Chris Lighty? Somebody that was cool with Chris Lighty. How do you know that? From the defendant, from Jimmy. What did he tell you? He said he had somebody who was cool with Chris Lighty giving him information. Did you ever talk with the defendant about any other members of Chris Lighty's family? One time we were leaving SOBs from a function. He had Jason drive him in this red Expedition that D had. Whose red Expedition? D. It was an older Expedition. Jason was driving him in it. And then where were you? We was downtown Manhattan at this point, called SOBs. What kind of spot is SOBs? Like a bar, lounge, entertainment. And we were leaving there, and he said he had a line on Chris Lighty brother that lived up in Westchester, and he was going up there to check it out and was going to have Jason drive him. Spoke to him afterward and said he seen the dude up there. He sat on him for a while, and he let some shots off at
SOBs is the club that's like downtown, like with Varick and all that, going towards Canal Street. It's over there, like East Houston. What's that? West East? No, I think it's West Houston. Like it's downtown Manhattan though. He's going towards when you're going towards Battery Park, Chambers Street. You're going Varick. You know what I'm saying? Actually, when you go past, once you pass SOBs, you pass Canal Street. You're going towards like 105 and all that.
He said he think he hit him. He don't know. He said, but he let a few rounds off on him with his 22 with a silencer. So you had a conversation with the defendant outside of SOBs, is that correct? Yes. And was anyone else present for that conversation? It was just me and him talking. It was other people there, but it was just him and I talking. Did he leave? Yeah, him and Jason left. Did you see him leave with Jason? Yes. And then afterwards, you said you had a conversation about what had happened? Yes. What did Jimmy say he had done? He said he sat up there for a while, sat on him, saw the dude, and he let some rounds off at him. What gun did you say he had? His 22 with a silencer. Did he talk about other members of G Unit at this time? No. Now, I am going to direct your attention to August of 2009. Did you have any conversations with Jimmy related to G Unit feud at that time? He was going down to Miami for the weekend, Kev's birthday. We was throwing him a party and we was all going down there. He met me uptown by the barbershop because we had to talk about, I was asking him his opinion. I was like, yo, should I still mail this, ship this work in, or just wait until we get back from Miami? You said a barbershop. What barbershop was that? It was a barbershop I used to get my hair cut in Harlem on 145th between Amsterdam and Broadway. You met with the defendant there? Yes. What were you talking about? I was asking his opinion. I was just like, yo, y'all gonna be out of town in Miami. I said, should I just have this work shipped in? Because he was leaving on a Thursday. I know I was leaving on a Thursday. I said, so should I have it shipped in? just held at the stash house or just wait till we get back? What was the it? The coke. We had some work coming in from LA, so we was going over that. And so it was a sidebar. He was like, yo, when you see Tory Man, tell him to give Slim some money. Slim told me they only gave him $1,000 and he just came home and that ain't no money. Dude making money right now. Tell him give him more than that. Slim wasn't just working for me. I was like, all right. He said, by the way, can I stop you for one moment? Who is Slim? Slim, Jimmy homeboy. I don't know him. Have you ever met him? No. You ever spoken to him? No. You knew him as Jimmy's friend? Yes. What did he tell you about Slim? Tell Tory to give him some money. He just came home. Did he say where he had just come home from? Yeah, from jail. And why did he say you should tell Tory to give him money? He said tell him Slim wasn't just working for me. He was working for him too. Then he said, by the way, Slim was locked up with the dude, Lodi Mac, and the dude didn't know that Jimmy and Slim was cool. He had said Lodi Mac was up there bragging about smacking his son. You know, just talking reckless. He said him and Slim still in contact. Slim befriended the dude, and Lodi Mac on his way home, he said, so Slim gonna stay in touch with him, so he gonna possibly line him up when he get home. He said because these dudes ain't gonna be happy until they go to the funeral. So what did the defendant say?
Now look how a man was talking in jail. You'll say the internet, a lot of you guys. How a man was talking to somebody in the penitentiary. That on the sidelines is like, yo, he got beef with my peoples. I'm gonna befriend this guy. I'm gonna break bread with him. I'm gonna wash his pants. You know what they say? You know what I'm saying? You wasn't good up north, but Jadakiss said it. He was a chef up north. Did all that. Did the necessaries to get information. Yo, I know his son live at. I know where he be at. I was up north and spending the yard. He was telling me everything. Didn't even know all along son was the op. So of course Jimmy Henchman was gonna embrace it. Now let's get to that 40 likes. Let's get to the 40-40. Let's get to the 40 likes. Cause that makes common sense, right? Now listen where he got his information at from Lodi. In jail. Wasn't online, it wasn't in the DM, wasn't on Facebook, in the penitentiary. A lot of you dudes line yourself up from jail. Y'all be in jail. Like I told you, S Block, there was somebody you had to start doing that talking, somebody paying attention. This is what he said. Listen, let's go back to the due diligence.
He was having Slim do with respect to Lodi Mac. He didn't say he was having Slim do nothing. Slim was taking this initiative on his own. He was like, yo, I'm cool with the dude. And Slim is staying in touch with him. He said Slim would possibly line him up for me when he get home. Directing your attention to September. Just a moment.
Jimmy's the bag. Of course, I'm good now. Yo, Summerlino. Jimmy's the bag. The opposite. So basically, the man who, this was the scene right here. This wasn't on Facebook. This wasn't on, yo, niggas is talking too much online. Yo, niggas is doing too much. This is a nigga sitting in jail with an individual that's prepared for his bag. Like, yo, son, I'm gonna get the drop. You know that conversation went. I'm gonna get the drop on old boy who slapped your son. I got you. You know what, Jimmy? That conversation leads to, I got you. I told you, nigga, wash his pants. Yo, son, let's go play ball. Yo, meet me in the gym. He probably was in the weight shack trading stories. Yo, that's my man, spin the yard with him. He did the necessaries from jail. Well, I'm not fucked up now. I got info. I'm about to get the drop on the nigga who slapped Jimmy's son. And it's the fucked up part about it was nobody. This is what I mean about jail. Y'all keep thinking, y'all always be thinking they gotta live a certain way. Who'd have thought a regular nigga in jail who's probably eating that wore greens every day, was probably eating up with state money, was Jimmy Henchman's homeboy.
Go ahead. Thank you, Your Honor. To September of 2009, did there come a time when you went to Atlanta? Yes. Why? Go to Atlanta every other week. That was my visitation situation with my kids, and my birthday was around that time also. Is Atlanta where your kids were living? Yes. When is your birthday? September 28th. So when did you go to Atlanta in September of 2009? That week of my birthday, I went that. My birthday was on the weekend, and so I think I went down there that Monday, Tuesday. So at that time that you went down to Atlanta in September 2009, what was going on with the drug business, generally speaking? It was a little static. We had a stash house that got raided, about 2 main catches that got arrested. We didn't know whether or not it was due to an investigation or just a regular impromptu bust. So we kind of had to shut down all of our FedEx accounts, UPS accounts on both sides, get new forms of communication. Who did you say had been arrested? 2 main catches over there. Who were they? Mark and Akbar. I show you what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 26. Can you remind us who that is? Akbar. And Government Exhibit 27? Mark. What were they arrested for? They got arrested for like 10, 15 kilos picking up. While you were in Atlanta, did you have any communication with Jimmy? Yeah, regularly. Regular communication? Mm-hmm. Do you remember any particular communication? One night he hit me up and was like, yo, tell Truck to hit that driver up ASAP. When was this? It was at night. I think a Sunday night or something like that. Why do you think it might have been a Sunday night? I was watching football. And you received a mess. You said the defendant hit you up. What did you mean by that? Hit me up on the BlackBerry and he was like, yo, tell Truck to hit the driver up ASAP. Did you know what he meant? Yeah, tell Tori to hit Jason. And what did you do in response? I hit Tori up and was like, yo, dude said it is driver up ASAP. Tori hit me back and was like, okay. Where was Jimmy at that time? He was in Miami. Did you have an understanding of why Jimmy would need to tell you to have Tori get in touch with Jason? Objection, Your Honor. Sustained. Did the defendant ever ask you to facilitate communication between different people? Yeah. And why was that? Objection, Your Honor. His opinion or based on the fact? Come to sidebar. You are asking his opinion, right? No, Your Honor. The witness will testify that he knew the defendant's BlackBerry did not always hit everyone else's. He had multiple phones, which he said before. So illicit facts? Don't ask him why something was happening, okay? Okay. Objection sustained. Proceed.
Definitely salute the Crown Course TV. Definitely in the building. You heard a lot of information there. There's a lot of information there that y'all might have missed on trial. This Jimmy Henchman guy was on a thing. He was on a thing. So now I see why 50 Cent calls him all type of rats. At all costs, he wanted them. Press charges, lawsuit, shot a couple of houses up. But the weird part about the Lodi Mac conversation is how old boy got next to him in jail to get information to line him up on the come home. Again, this is not a social media thing. It's a habit of people talking. You don't know who they're talking around. Paying attention to their surroundings. But you don't never know who's who. So that's why when you're bragging and you're sitting about talking about violent things, you gotta watch who's around. they get connected to you. Because you're somebody's come up. When it comes to things like that, where somebody's gunning for some type of revenge, and they got the bag. Oh, I'm gonna get next to son. That's my bag. Yo, word, son. Get so cool with them. You'll start trading addresses and phone numbers. When I get home, we're gonna take it to the top and such. I'm gonna get next to you, bro. And they get next to him. If you're one, I could do Lodi Mac tomorrow. Hit my DM. If you're likely to do a part 2 to this, hit my DM. I just want to switch it up because I was gonna do this last week with the Matt Hoffa. Shout out to God that came from Unstricken Mentality. She sent me the content. And I'm like, yo, let me do this show today. I've been doing a lot of, the movie. The machine is the machine. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Salute to God's a king. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man P for Unstricken Mentality. Stack City Stowe out there in PA. We moving. You know what I'm saying? Heisenberg, Bricks, Bravo. Shout out to my brethren Bravo, 145th B-Way Slay. Push that night family. Tiff. My man Iced Out Wavy. Definitely shout out to the old man Jacob from Harlem, the Harlem legend, you heard? So we here, we just doing the necessary. And shout out to my man T-Tone up in the building, Unstricken Mentality in the Clubhouse. T-Tone from YTC. Info Minds. You know what I'm saying? Versace, Unstricken Mentality. Tia, Joy, Unstricken Mentality. You know what I'm saying? In the Clubhouse. That's that. That's the family. You know what I'm saying? The family land. You know what I mean? Getting to the get down. This case is very interesting to hear. He was gunning for Chris Lighty. So Chris Lighty might have, his friends is lining him up. Dudes next to him, I don't know, man. Bandito. I'm not here to solve a crime, man, but Chris was going through a whole lot of stress. There was a whole lot on his back, man. And for some reason, Jimmy Henchman was on that situation. Now I sort of see why 50 Cent acted the way he acted, because nobody would actually listen to the case. But now listening to the court transcripts, it's getting weird. But Jimmy Henchman, you did right. You had your baby mom's right. You can't get around that one. You did bad. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, hope you enjoyed the content. Tomorrow's another day. Switch it up a little bit. Shout out to Spanish Harlem, where I'm from, at Medina. Shout out to my man Tom Black, OG Tom Black, Washington Projects. You know what I'm saying? My man, Chase, Sugar Hill Chase and all of them. Definitely shout out to y'all. Appreciate everybody that came through. See Black feeding the wolves. We just feed the wolves. White feed Southern Bell. We just feeding the wolves. Westside St. Louis in the building in his house. You know what I'm saying? We're just doing the dues, doing the necessaries to achieve success, doing our due diligence. For those that just jumped in, go back to the replay. You're going to see me play content from when Sobe set it off to what Tony Yayo said on Matt Hoffa. Shout out to Bimmy, shout out to Matt Hoffa. And then I go into what Crown Court TV had to say about the situation with the party. So there was nothing signed. It was just a conversation. They went to a courthouse, and I guess that situation is a double O cheesecake. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's just, Jimmy Henchman has a crazy case, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm gonna say is, man, we played to win at all courts, you know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to y'all, salute to y'all, shout out to East Harlem, salute to where I'm from, Spanish Harlem, I love y'all. See you tomorrow, you heard? Definitely shout out to Hilltop, Washington Projects, Lexington Project, Hill Hope Crew, Lex Ave crew. Shout out to my man Jose Blacktops, allegedly, you know what I'm saying? My man Jose from the Blacktop crew, you know what I'm saying? Salute the hoe. You know what I'm saying? We here. Rest in peace, Nelson Batista, my nigga Nell. We here, we in the building, man. That being said, salute and peace.